For centuries, Turkish women wove secret desires into their rugs, using a hidden language for emotions they were strictly forbidden to speak, but impossible to ignore. Imagine standing in the silent, dusty threshold of a stone cottage deep in the valleys of Anatolia. Outside, the wind sweeps across the dry, golden steppe, carrying the scent of wild thyme and distant rain. But inside, the air is still, heavy with the earthy, comforting smell of raw sheep's wool and dried lavender. The only sound breaking this ancient silence is a rhythmic, hypnotic heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. This is the sound of the kirkit, a heavy iron comb beating down weft threads, packing them so tightly that they will hold their form for 100 years. Sitting before a wooden loom, a woman's hands move with a speed that the human eye can barely track. She is not merely making a floor covering. She is not simply tying knots to pass the time. With every loop of vibrant wool, she is tying a memory, a prayer, or a deeply held secret into physical form. For the weaver, this carpet is a mirror of her soul. It captures the weeks, months, and sometimes years of her life in a language that needs no words. When you look at an authentic Turkish carpet, you are not looking at an object. You are looking at time itself, frozen in vibrant madder red and deep indigo blue. You are witnessing a silent song sung by fingers that may have long since turned to dust, yet whose story remains as vivid and loud as the day the final knot was tied. So take a deep breath. Let the noise and rush of the modern world fade away. We are about to unravel a mystery that has captivated emperors, travelers, and artists for millennia. Welcome to Culture Journey. Today, we are traveling to the legendary crossroads of the East and the West, to the rugged mountains, historical cities, and sweeping plateaus of Turkey, or as it is locally known, Turkiye. Here, spanning thousands of years of history, lies an art form that defines the very soul of the nation, the Turkish handmade carpet. In many cultures around the world, a rug is simply something you walk on. It is utilitarian, functional, and often ignored as mere background decoration. But in Turkish culture, a carpet, or hali, is the spiritual and emotional center of the home. It is the sacred space where families gather to share meals, where guests are welcomed with glasses of hot tea, and where daily prayers are offered to the heavens. Before furniture became common in the nomadic tents of the ancient Turkic tribes, the carpet was the furniture. It was the bed, the wall, the cradle, the door, and eventually, the shroud. But why has this specific tradition survived when so many others have faded into history? Why do collectors pay millions for antique Turkish rugs? And why do travelers often feel an inexplicable emotional pull when they step into a carpet shop in Istanbul or Cappadocia? The answer lies not just in the beauty of the wool or the silk, but in the profound philosophy woven into every single square inch. This is a story of survival, of complex chemistry derived from the earth, and of a visual language spoken without a single syllable. As we journey through this vibrant world today, we will discover how a simple knot can hold a universe of meaning, and how a piece of fabric can carry the weight of a civilization. To truly understand the heart of the Turkish carpet, we must first look at its skeleton, the knot itself. While the world of Oriental rugs is vast and varied, Turkish carpets possess a unique architectural secret known as the Gordes knot, or the Turkish double knot. Unlike the Persian single knot, which loops around one warp string and passes under another, the Turkish knot loops around two vertical warp threads and wraps completely around them before being pulled tight. Imagine two arms hugging a tree trunk so tightly that no storm could ever shake them loose. That is the essence of the Gordes knot. This technique results in a carpet of incredible structural durability. It is often said that while other rugs may wear out over decades, a good Turkish carpet only just begins its life after 50 years of use. This technique was not born out of vanity, but out of absolute necessity. The ancestors of modern Turks were nomads, moving through harsh climates, rocky mountains, and rough terrains. They lived in yurts, round tents that needed to be packed and unpacked constantly. They needed floor coverings that could withstand the constant movement, the cold dampness of the ground, and the trample of heavy boots and animal hooves. When you touch a Turkish carpet today, you can feel that structural integrity. It feels dense, solid, and substantial, like the earth itself. If you were a nomad traveling through the freezing mountains of Anatolia, would you value the beauty of your rug or its warmth and durability more? Or do you think the Turkish weavers found a way to perfect both? This durability is the reason why you can still find antique Turkish rugs in museums today, dating back to the 13th and 14th centuries, still holding their form and color. They were built not just for a lifetime, but for eternity. Now, let's look closer at the patterns that dance across the surface. To the untrained eye, these geometric shapes, flowery borders, and jagged lines are simply beautiful decorations. But to the weaver and the local people, a carpet is a book waiting to be read. In rural Anatolia, especially in the past, women lived in traditional conservative societies where expressing deep personal desires, specific fears, or complaints was often socially unacceptable. They could not always speak their minds freely, so they moved their voices into their fingertips. Every triangle, every diamond, and every line has a specific name and a profound meaning. Consider the Elibelinde motif. It looks like a stylized geometric figure of a woman with her hands resting on her hips. This is the ancient symbol of motherhood and fertility. A young bride weaving this pattern into her dowry rug is silently telling her future husband and her new family of her hope to become a mother and to bring abundance to the home. Then there is the muska, a triangular shape representing a protective amulet. It is woven to ward off the evil eye and protect the family from bad luck and jealousy. If you see a jagged, saw-like pattern running along the border, that is the Kurt Agzi, or wolf's mouth. In the nomadic days, wolves were a genuine, terrifying threat to the flocks of sheep that sustained the tribe. By weaving the wolf's mouth, the weaver was casting a spell of protection, hoping to keep the predators at bay. Perhaps the most beautiful symbol is the Hayat Agatsi, the tree of life. With its roots deep in the earth and branches reaching toward the sky, it represents the desire for immortality and the hope for a life that continues after death. Did you know that weavers would sometimes weave a scorpion symbol into their rugs? This wasn't to summon the creature, but to protect their home from it. The belief was that by capturing the image of the danger in wool, you stripped it of its power to harm you. A Turkish carpet does not merely show color, it radiates it. This luminosity comes from the ancient chemistry of natural dyes. Before the introduction of synthetic chemical dyes in the late 19th century, every single color in a rug came from the landscape surrounding the village. The carpet was literally made of the land it was woven upon. This process is a form of domestic alchemy. The vibrant, warm reds, the signature color of Turkish rugs, come from the roots of the madder plant, which must be dug up from the soil, dried, ground, and boiled. The deep, mystical blues come from the indigo plant, often traded along the Silk Road. Yellows are extracted from chamomile flowers, saffron, or even simple onion skins collected from the kitchen. Blacks and browns were often created using walnut shells or oak galls. The preparation of these dyes was often a closely guarded secret, passed down from mother to daughter. The wool would be boiled in massive copper cauldrons with the dye stuff and a mordant, usually alum, which acts as a chemical binder to fix the color to the fiber. Because these are organic materials, they react to the environment in unique ways. Over time, natural dyes soften and mellow. They do not fade into dullness like cheap chemicals, but rather mature into different, harmonious hues. This leads to a beautiful phenomenon known as abras. If you look closely at a handmade rug, you might see subtle bands of varying shades within a single color field, a blue that shifts from sky to ocean, or a red that moves from brick to cherry. This is abras. It proves that the wool was dyed in small handmade batches rather than in a massive industrial factory. It is the hallmark of authenticity, a perfect imperfection that collectors cherish. Imagine the smell of that process, the earthy steam of boiling roots, the metallic tang of the copper pots, and the scent of wet wool drying in the Anatolian sun. If you could capture the color of your local landscape in a rug, what plants or materials would you have to use? Among the vast varieties of Turkish carpets, one holds a special spiritual significance, the sekade, or prayer rug. These are smaller than the room-sized carpets, designed to be portable, personal, simply rolled up and carried by the believer. The defining feature of a prayer rug is the mihrab design. This is an arch woven into the pattern, mimicking the prayer niche found in a mosque. When the rug is rolled out for prayer, the point of this arch is oriented toward Mecca. For those few moments of prayer, the rug creates a sacred, clean architecture anywhere in the world, whether on the dusty roadside, in a busy office, or in a quiet bedroom. This rug separates the believer from the impurities of the ground. It creates a spiritual island. The designs often feature a hanging lamp motif within the arch, symbolizing the light of God, or sometimes two footprints woven near the bottom to show where the feet should be placed. To own a prayer rug is to have a mobile sanctuary, a portable piece of holy ground that travels with you through life. While the village rugs of Anatolia are thick, woolly, and geometric, reflecting the rugged life of the mountains, there is another, completely different side to this art form: the imperial court carpets. During the height of the Ottoman Empire, the sultans established royal workshops to create textiles that mirrored the power and wealth of the state. The most famous of these was in the town of Herat. Here, the objective was not durability for a nomad's tent, but sheer, breathtaking luxury for the palaces of Istanbul. A Herat silk carpet is a marvel of human patience and dexterity. Because silk threads are incredibly fine, a weaver can tie an astronomical number of knots, sometimes up to 1 million knots per square meter. These rugs are so detailed that they look less like textiles and more like high-resolution paintings. The patterns shifted from tribal geometry to flowing, curvilinear floral designs, influenced by the imperial gardens and the intricate art of the Safavids. It was said that a single, large Heraki carpet could take several weavers multiple years to complete. They were often used as diplomatic gifts for kings, czars, and emperors across Europe. To own one was to hold a piece of the Ottoman soul. Even today, standing before a Heraki carpet, one is forced to marvel at the sheer limit of human capability and the pursuit of perfection. Today, the art of the Turkish carpet faces a critical crossroads. In a world of fast fashion, IKEA furniture, and machine-made conveniences, the immense patience required to weave a handmade rug is becoming rare. A machine can produce in 1 hour what a human takes months to create. Young people in the villages are moving to the cities for modern jobs, leaving the family looms silent and gathering dust. However, the tradition is not dead. There is a renaissance occurring. Across Turkey, women's cooperatives are forming to ensure that weavers are paid fair wages for their art, keeping the skills alive and viable. And then there is the experience of the Kapalı Çarşı, the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. For any traveler, this is the theater where the carpet culture comes alive. Walking through the labyrinth of 4,000 shops, you are invited in by charismatic merchants. "Please, come in, just for tea," they say. And the ritual begins. Carpets are flown through the air, unrolling with a satisfying thwack against the floor. Apple tea is served in small, tulip-shaped glasses. The merchant explains the region, the age, and the story of the rug. It is a dance of negotiation and storytelling. Travelers learn that they are not just buying a souvenir, they are becoming the new custodians of a story that started in a village 50 years ago. They are rescuing a piece of history. What do you think is the biggest threat to ancient traditions like this? Is it technology, or is it our own loss of patience? Or perhaps, by valuing these items, we can save them. The survival of this art depends on us, the observers and the appreciators, recognizing that some things simply cannot be rushed, and that the flaws of a handmade object are actually its soul. As we come to the end of our journey today, I want you to look one last time at the carpet. It is so much more than just wool, cotton, and dye. It is a testament to human resilience. It is a story of a people who took the rugged, simple materials of their land, the fleece of the sheep, the roots of the earth, and the water of the mountain streams, and transformed them into objects of profound, enduring beauty. The Turkish carpet teaches us a lesson that the modern world often forgets, that everything is connected. The knot connects to the warp, the color connects to the earth, and the pattern connects to the weaver's heart. When you sit on a Turkish carpet, you are not sitting on the floor. You are sitting on a garden that never needs watering. You are sitting on a story that never ends. You are resting on a prayer that is always being said. It reminds us that art is not just something we hang on a wall. It is something we live with, something that warms us and something that connects us to the generations that came before. Every culture is a mirror of the human soul, and the journey to understand it may never truly end. Thank you so much for joining us on this textured journey through the history, art, and soul of Turkey. We hope you can now see the secret language hidden in these beautiful textiles, and that you will look at rugs a little differently from now on. If you enjoyed today's journey, please don't forget to like this video. It really helps our channel weave its way to more viewers like you who cherish world culture. And we want to hear from you in the comments. If you were to design a rug that told the story of your life, what symbol would you place right in the center? Would it be the tree of life, a protective amulet, or something entirely new? We love reading your stories and thoughts. Please subscribe to Culture Journey and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the beautiful hidden corners of our world. We have many more stories to tell. Until next time, keep exploring and keep the journey alive.